Hello everybody, and today we have this very epic review of the Brickler Bricks ATT made out of 4 501st Battle Packs, meaning this set will set you back around 120 US dollars or 160 Canadian dollars depending on where you're from. Personally, for me, it is the latter. Now, this set, again, like I said, is an alternate build which uses 4 501st Battle Pack parts and no other parts just to make this beautiful ATT that you see here. And Brickler Bricks, the guy who made this, I'll link his channel in the description and hopefully in the pinned comment. And he also did make the 501st Gunship I reviewed a while back, so make sure you go check out that video if you haven't already. And let's be honest, nobody really wants like 10 million ATRT and Bark Speeder builds. So instead, Brickler Bricks makes these fantastic alternate builds that you guys can make out of your 501st Battle Pack parts that you don't want. So starting off, you guys can see this is like a figure to the ATT, and the ATT I would say is pretty small. It is like not the biggest model, and certainly not as big as the ATT coming out later this summer, which I will make sure to compare to this one if I do a review on it. But yeah, so I would say it's not nowhere close to minifig scale, but it still would look good on like a battle, and it's pretty close to like the scale LEGO gives us the ATTs in, which is pretty close to like minifigure scale, a bit under it. But yeah, you can see the panels here are actually really nice for what they are. These are all connected as one, and the legs, which is kind of a bit of a problem, and that's the other reason this video took me so long to get out. I've actually had this whole thing built since like February or March, but the legs just kept falling apart, and now I finally found the way to keep it like all together. The legs just crumbled under the weight of each other, but it's all good now, and I really recommend if you're building this model, go check out Brickler's videos on like its stability issues and stuff. They really helped me out a lot. Now the leg designs, you can see there's two main ones here, the one for the big middle legs, which look pretty nice if I do say so myself, and the one for the back and front legs, which also look pretty cool. And granted, these are all out of 501st Battle Pack parts, which is really impressive, especially for an ATT, which you'd think would use like a big plate here, big plate there, and like complicate stuff for the legs. This set is like really a miracle because, you know, the legs are just, they managed to work somehow, and considering they're on 501st Battle Pack parts, that's really something. Now, I really like the barrel here and like the turret. It's like you could move it in a circle, which is really cool. And at the front here, yeah, there is no glass here because there usually is, but you know, I think it works fine, and it has the basic shape down, and I actually really like this part here. Now at the top, you can see it's a mostly smooth design with like these rail kind of air conditioning pieces is what I like to kind of think of them as. I might be dumb, but that's just what I think they are. And you can see there, I guess, like, it keeps it smooth, but there's also like spots for troopers to stand, and you could fit like maybe 1 or 2 clones in there. I think it's 1, but I guess you could really cram 2 in if you want. So overall, the set's really nice, and even though it's pretty small, I definitely recommend if you have like 8 501st Battle Packs, definitely make sure to build one of these alternate builds to help your army grow. Personally, I would recommend the ATT because it would go well with the Bark Speeder and the ATRT, so we could all have like a nice ground model assault. But if you have even more 501st Battle Packs like I do, then go ahead and build the Gunship. I think the Gunship is definitely a more stable model, but I think this one is probably closer to its in-universe model than the Gunship is. I'll bring it over here to compare. So yeah, here is the Gunship out of 4 501st Battle Pack parts. I do think this one is arguably like a cooler model, but it's just not the most accurate to the actual model in the in Star Wars, because you can see you can't even fit pilots up here on the sides. And I will say you can't really fit anything in the ATT either, but that's not really a point of an ATT. But you can fit troopers on the inside, which is pretty cool, and this definitely is a really nice addition to my clone base. But yeah, so overall, I will say it's really up to your personal preference. It's just, in my opinion, I would personally build the ATT because, I don't know, I just like it better, I guess. Another thing I did not mention, but is a huge point in the set, is the 16 501st clones that come with it, which is an absolutely huge number, because for $120, this model is far from worth it. But at the end of the day, you are buying battle packs, so the 16 clones definitely make it worth it. Earlier, I did mention the size differences between the real model of the ATT and this model, and you can see it is nowhere the same. This model is just a beast, and this one's a bit smaller, but it's still kind of a good LEGO counterpart, I would say, and it's not like too small to make it like obsolete. Now here we have a Separatist MTT where it is made out of two 75283 AATs. Now, this set, I'm going to be honest here, it's a nice model. It has some really nice paneling, and it honestly looks like a midi scale model of this that LEGO would release. And out of two AATs, it is just great. And I think that is because the set really looks like it's made more of 1.5 AATs. And I don't remember how many spare parts there were left, but I think that it definitely used all the big parts, so that is one thing. And see, the reason this set I would not recommend to build is because now it's $80. That's just the fact of the matter here. It is $80, and that is a lot. And for this thing, I don't think it's worth it. Now this obviously isn't worth $120 either, but the figures more than make up for that. However, this set comes with two 332nd Troopers, which is really cool, and then two Ahsokas, which is, nobody's building an Ahsoka army as far as I know, and then droids. Now, maybe if the set had two 332nd Troopers, or even three 332nd Troopers, or 6 droids, or something like that, but it doesn't, and it doesn't, there's no reason to really, buy a ton of AATs. Now, the reason, 5 Battle Pack alternate builds are super cool and useful is because everybody buys a ton of 5 Battle Packs, nobody really wants the builds. But this one, I think people really stopped, people bought a couple AATs, and, after that, they haven't been the most popular thing. People have slandered them because of their big barrel. I never thought the model was too bad, but I never thought it was, something too special, and aside from the 332nd Trooper, it's really not much. Now, this model, I will say it's nice, and the best way to describe it is the most LEGO-approved model. It uses legal building techniques, it's very stable, I could shake it, you could see, and it has some really nice, proportions and stuff, and I think it's, again, like I said, a great midi-scale model of what the MTT would be, and the ATT, I did say that it's not small enough to be kind of obsolete next to the actual model. Well, I think this one kind of is, because this is nowhere near the huge tank of a droid carrier that it could have. And I will say, if the way I'd recommend you build this model is, let's just say you bought 4 AATs or 3 AATs even, then go ahead and build this model. There's not many Separatist army building sets out there, and I think this one will definitely be worth your time. But yeah. Other than that, I'm just going to give you guys a basic rundown of the model here. You guys can see that the back part is probably my favorite part. It is really nice, all the stuff looks really smooth. The mix of studded and unstudded parts look splendid. And these parts were pretty much made for it was destined for this to be remade into an MTT. And the back here, this has a lot of nice play features. You could hold droids that, again, this set doesn't really have, which is kind of a problem. And it could, it has nice stuff up here as well. There's really not much to say about this, but it does have a really nice feature in the front where these two open up. There's a droid carrier thing with no droids because mine kind of had an accident. And it has some cannons up here, which are not the most stable thing. But yeah, overall, I think this set is really nice, and this is not an issue with Brickler Bricks. This is an issue with just it's just an issue with the set he chose to make a alternate build out of. It's just not the best for that. Anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Make sure to subscribe if you did, and let's take a quick look at what this looks like next to the Republic Bricks MTT. The lighting is not the best here, but look, it fits right in. There we go. Like and subscribe, everybody.